Hi everybody, this video is directed at people involved in branding, specifically people that are in the process of choosing a brand for their company, invention, or small business, and also for people who already have a brand. I hope that you've chosen a distinctive brand, not a descriptive brand. Distinctive brands are protectable, descriptive brands are not. And I'm going to discuss that in more detail, what the difference between the two is. Hope you enjoy it.
Three, two, one, start. Like I said, the main reason that I want to make this video today and get it out to you is the importance for any small entity, inventor, small business to understand an important aspect of branding, specifically the difference between distinctive and descriptive. It's important federal law that business owners should know about, because getting it wrong can really cost you. And I'm going to show you some examples of how to get it wrong. But just as a refresher, I'm just going to start with a little bit of what the definition of a trademark is. There's a lot of different definitions, and I only mean to stay on this very briefly. The main point is that trademarks are meant to convey origin and source. They're not meant to convey other things that people get mixed up about. They want to show the origin and the source of a product. And trademark law is designed to protect consumers. They are not designed to protect the companies, although in an incidental way, it has the effect of helping the company. But specifically, this applies to phrases, logos, images, designs, even sounds, although we're not going to spend much time on that. And in the middle of the screen are some example trademarks. Another important point that people should know about is the difference between an image mark and a word mark. Now, this is a very cluttered screen, I admit that, but on the right are the word marks, on the left are the image marks. This is going to be the subject of a separate video. Only wanted to get you familiar with the principle. That's all that we're doing here. And I chose some images and some brands that I just made up. Inventor-Friendly and want to go up level. I just use cats as a way of showing simple brands that are just made up and invented merely for the purpose of making this presentation. Here is the most important screen I'm going to show you, and that is with respect to distinctive on the left. Let's start with the Apple logo. Apple, a computer company and maker of electronic devices and software. Under no circumstances are they in any way related to fruit or to food or things that you eat, except very indirectly. And yet they chose the company name Apple. Partly because it was at the front of the phone book, but also partly because they wanted something distinctive. Distinctive, not descriptive. Distinctive brands are protectable. Descriptive brands are much, much less protectable. Way less. Hugely less protectable. And I'm going to show you examples of people and small businesses and respectable companies that started out and caused themselves problems right from the beginning by choosing descriptive brands and harming themselves and not being able to do anything about it later. So one of my favorite remarks I give when I'm making a presentation is the following. Apple, Google, and Amazon all chose words and brands for the company that have nothing whatsoever to do with the actual products and services they sell, that are in no way descriptive, chosen intentionally. Apple, a fruit, not anything to do with computers, hardware, electronics, software, something you eat. Clearly not descriptive of what it is they sell. They do not sell food. Google, intentionally spelled wrong. The actual Google spelling is Googol, which means 10 to the 100th power. No connection whatsoever with online search, online resources, and all of the oodles of things that Google is now responsible for and making very good profits on. But 10 to the 100th power is not one of them. Again, an example of choosing a brand that is distinctive, that has no connotation in the English language or any language with the actual products being sold or delivered or services provided. no connection. That's a much better and much more protectable brand. Now, I choose this brand, and I did have this as my website for a while, called fireyourpatentattorney.com. The reason I chose that is because it's distinctive and people identify with it a little bit, and it's clearly a misnomer in the sense that if that's part of my brand, it can't be part of my brand that I want people to fire me and to fire my law firm. So I get a lot of questions about that. I ended up not using that domain. I found better ones, and it was kind of an amusing thing. The point is that it is distinctive. And for distinctive brands where you're not even sure, well, what is this? What does the company do? You can include something called a slug line underneath the brand, such as reduce your patent expenses. I'm going to show you some other slug lines as well. Anyway, to keep this video short, I'm going to move on. The distinctive brands are on the left. The descriptive brands are on the right. Let's talk, for example, about Kentucky Fried Chicken. It is from Kentucky. It is fried chicken. They had difficulty getting a federal trademark registration back in the 1870s. They were able to get around it eventually by showing the amount of goodwill and distinctiveness associated with their brand. ICANN, Internet Consortium of Assigned Names and Numbers. The acronym is exactly what it is and what they do. Very descriptive. But the reason they chose that is because they're not really a consumer-based organization and aren't trying to reach a brand recognition in the same way other sellers of consumer products are. In the lower left-hand corner, we have Inventor-Friendly as a brand, symbolized with the TM in the lower right-hand corner of the brand, or my website, tannerpatent.com, which I put an SM for service mark. My last name is Tanner, and I'm a patent attorney. Unmistakably, this is a descriptive brand. So I just mark it with SM. I doubt I would ever be able to get a federal registration. The reason I chose that is not because I am concerned about its protectability. Again, we have examples of the distinctive brands which worked out pretty well. Apple, Google, and Amazon. And then on the right, unfortunately, in the Tampa area, we have the Mini Donut Factory. And we also have Cigar City Brewing, as well as you can see Cigar City Hot Sauce. These folks, between the four images on the right under descriptive, they either ended up in state court or in federal court over misuse of their brand. And my unfortunate message to everybody involved in these litigations is you all deserved what you got because you chose unwisely. You chose brands that you could not protect. That's bad. Because Tampa is well known as being a cigar city. That's a well-known, long-time association, and Tampa was, in fact, a manufacturer of cigars, one of the basic portions of the core economy in Tampa, Florida, for many years, hundreds of years. The idea of Cigar City being part of your brand is very ineffective, very tepid, very weak, and they ended up in federal court over this. The Mini Donut Factory, of which, yes, there's probably more than these two, they ended up in state court because it is donuts. They are mini donuts. It's okay that they spell it D-O-N-U-T or D-O-U-G-H-N-U-T. That's not a distinctifying factor and was not in any way helped to either of these parties. They clearly look like they're associated with each other. This dispute ended up in federal court. And then the donuts one ended up in state court, and it was a mess, caused a lot of problems for everybody involved. Don't do this to yourself. Think harder about your brand. Choose something distinctive. Do not choose descriptive brands because people will find you easier on Google, or you can run keywords and AdWords that have your brand as part of the generic name. That won't work. That will not work, and in fact, it will backfire on you. Choose distinctive brands. And if you're concerned that people aren't going to recognize what your product is, use a slug line that is a little more descriptive. The slug line can appear with your brand and help explain your brand. But your brand, always, you should choose distinctive where possible.
I realize this is a difficult subject to grasp and get through. The difference between something being distinctive and being descriptive is complex not intuitive, not always makes sense, and I'm just trying to convey it to you in the shortest amount of possible time that having been a trademark attorney and a patent attorney for now 22 years, this is the world we live in. This is what's going to happen when you submit a trademark application with a descriptive brand. You need to know. It may not be fair. You may wish that you had the past to do over again. We just got to make the best of it. And if you're choosing a brand for the first time, please strive for distinctiveness and try to avoid being descriptive.
Thanks for watching. Let me know any other topics you want me to discuss. This YouTube channel is to help you. This is for information. I want to hear from you, and I want to know what things are on your mind.